Courtside Conversations.
Courtside Conversations.
The Roland-Garros Tennis Podcast.
Hello and welcome to Courtside Conversations, the official Roland-Garros podcast. I'm Gigi Salmon, and together with special guests, we've been keeping you company throughout the year. This is tennis with a French twist. And while the tennis never really stops, with both tours officially shut down for Christmas, it is time to take a look back on the season that was, and I'm delighted to be doing that in the company of former world number 11, winner of 6 titles on the WTA Tour, and new captain of France's Billie Jean King Cup team, Alize Cornet. Alize, welcome to the podcast.
Hi Gigi, how are you?
I'm good. It's so good to have you with us. And can I start by saying congratulations on your appointment as captain. It was earlier this month, and it's something you described as a tremendous honor.
Yeah, it is. Yes, thank you very much for your congratulations. Yeah, it was definitely a dream come true. Again, I feel like my life is just full of dreams that have been accomplished so far. And this one was really on my list for a little while now. I didn't think that I would be captain so soon after my career ended, but you know, the opportunity just opened up, and I felt like it was time for me to step up. And I'm so glad that the federation chose me. It was really not an easy choice, because Amélie was also in the loop and some other really great candidates, and I'm very honored that they decided to choose me.
You've talked about all these wonderful things that have happened, but where does that sit in achievements of your career, just the fact that you have been named captain?
Yeah, I think winning the competition. So at that time, it was the Fed Cup. It was called the Fed Cup and not the Billie Jean King Cup. Good job, by the way, pronouncing it correctly, because I'm still struggling. But yeah, winning the Fed Cup back in 2019 in Australia was one of the most intense moments of my career. And somehow I knew since I was about 25 that one day I would like to be a Fed Cup captain, so a Billie Jean King Cup captain. It was something, I don't know, natural for me to be willing to pass my experience and to share those kind of moments with the team and with the girls. And as you said, I have a lot of experience with this competition. Not only a positive experience, I also had a lot of suffering in the beginning of my career with this competition, and playing for the national team was not always a walk in the park. But that's also why I think I am the right person to pass this experience and to maybe find the right words for these girls, because I know what they are living on the court and what they are feeling and what is at stake when you play for your country. I think I'm really the right person to know that. And for me, being a captain right now is just a real accomplishment in my second career. So yeah, I'm very pleased, very, very glad.
You talked about it being your second career. Now, you initially announced your retirement from tennis, Roland-Garros 2024. It was to be your final tournament. You came back 9 months later for another spell. What made you return? Because I imagine it was a very difficult decision in the first place to decide that was it.
It was not such a hard decision. By the end of 2023, I started to think about it really seriously, and I felt it like down in my core. I felt that it was almost time to say goodbye to tennis. I decided that Roland-Garros would be the perfect place as a French player. I mean, you cannot dream of a better place to say goodbye. So it was pretty much something evident, you know, for me to say goodbye in 2024. But in the back of my mind, I told myself, if I, you know, get a protected ranking, if one day I want to be back on tour for a little bit and maybe play a last Wimbledon, because that was my goal. It was to play a last time on grass. Maybe if you can find the motivation to start practicing again for a few weeks and be back for maybe a couple tournaments, I would do it. And it happens that in the beginning of this year, beginning of 2025, I started to feel a little bit the need of playing again in a competition. And I told myself that playing a last time on grass would be even better to say goodbye, and to have this last swing with this surface that I really learned how to love throughout the years was a good challenge. So I started practicing for 6 or 7 weeks. And I wanted to also see how my body would react, to this back to practice thing, and it reacted really well. So I even started competition a little bit earlier than expected. I started on clay. I started playing on clay, and I enjoyed it so much that I knew it was the right decision. I didn't know how long it would last for, but I knew that being back on the court for like 4, 5, or 6 tournaments would bring me a lot of joy, and that was exactly the reason why I was doing it. It was to feel joy on court, which I haven't felt for a little while before I ended my career, because it was a lot of pressure, and I was not feeling this joy like I wanted to feel on the last years of my career, and this was the whole reason why I came back. And I had it. I had this experience of enjoying being on the court, not depending of winning or losing, and it was great. Then I played the qualies of Wimbledon. I lost in the third round of qualies, and I told myself, I think that's almost it. That's enough. I think I did what I wanted to do, and then I played the last tournament in San Sebastian on clay again. And after that, I was sure 100% that it was the end. So I'm happy because I kind of, closed the loop with tennis the way I wanted to do it. And for me, it was the perfect way to definitely close the chapter as a tennis player.
Yeah, and to do it on your own terms. You spoke there about the pressure and the joy. We've spoken in the past to Amelie Mauresmo and Caroline Garcia about playing at Roland-Garros. Now, you reached the round of 16 at all 4 slams, but how different did it feel playing at Roland-Garros, and how did that affect you positively or negatively?
Oh, that's a long story. I played 20 Roland-Garros in my life, which is a lot. I think I'm owning the record of consecutive participation in Roland-Garros. I think it's something like that. So I played 20 Roland-Garros in a row. I never quite found the solution of how being relaxed on the court. Even after 20 years, I still had this knot in my belly whenever I was entering the court. I still had this pressure of showing my best tennis to the crowd and my best self, and it was really kind of a love-hate relationship, because I was always so excited to go to Paris and to Roland-Garros. And when I was coming there, I had so much happiness and also so much enjoyment of meeting the people that I knew there and being home and blah, blah, blah. But in the same time, whenever the match was coming up and was getting close, I was losing sleep. I was very stressed. I was irritated. And I couldn't quite find the key to have a not better experience, but healthier experience with Roland Garros. But I think this is the relationship that all French players have with this tournament. And that's maybe also why it's been a while since a French player has won it, I think the last one was Mary Pierce, I believe. So it's been a few years ago, let's say. And it's not easy. It would be very interesting to ask some Australian player, American player, and British player how they handle this relationship with their home Grand Slam. I think it would be very interesting to, try to cross the testimony and see what's working for them.
Yeah, those unique pressures of playing at your home slam. Since you stopped playing, you have been back at Roland-Garros in a different capacity. You've been on court doing the interviews. You've been doing a lot of media. How have you enjoyed that side of things? How have you enjoyed working in the media?
Yeah, it's been a couple of years that I've been working for French TV during the tournament. And I even did the interview on court last year, which was such a good experience. I loved doing that. I loved sharing this first moment, this first post-match moments with the players, and trying to get their reactions right after the match. I really enjoyed it a lot, and working for TV is also very fun. First of all, I love watching tennis. I think that's my favorite thing to do in the whole world, just watching tennis. And I'm getting paid to watch tennis and talk about tennis. I mean, this is a dream job. So no, definitely it's a great reconversion for me to work for TV.
Now, I also read somewhere, is this right, that during your time off, did you appear on the French version of The Traitors?
I did.
Now, how was it? Because everybody is talking about the traitors at the ATP finals in Turin. The group of people were actually playing their own version of the traitors. So what were you? How was it? How did it go?
Oh my God, long story again, but it was last year, at the end of last year, and I lost in the final against a traitor. So I got, how can I say, I got screwed up by a traitor that I never thought that was a traitor. It is actually a very, very famous soccer player. His name is Adil Rami. Just for your information, he used to date Pamela Anderson and is famous for his World Cup title, but also for that. And now he's famous for winning the Trader edition, the Trader last year's season. And yeah, it was amazing. It was very immersive, it was very intense. And I didn't see it coming. And I was so mad at myself for so many days after that, even maybe so many weeks, to not have seen this huge thing in front of me. Adil as a trader, it was just so obvious. When you see the TV show after that, you're like, my God, was I that stupid? But it actually inside, you have so many hours of filming, you have so many hours of chatting with people, talking, that everything is actually, it's mixed up in your mind, and you ask yourself 1,000 questions per day, you lose sleep. Oh, my God, it was a very intense experience, and I loved it. But to be honest, I wouldn't do it again. Yeah.
It sounds quite stressful. You did talk about you love tennis and you watch tennis. So this is perfect, because I want you to put almost like your media hat on, because I'd love to look back on the season we've just had, starting with the WTA. So we had 4 Grand Slam winners, 4 different winners. Then we had Elena Rybakina winning the Tour finals. Now, some have said to me that shows a lack of consistency in the women's game, too many changes. But for me, it highlights the strength and depth, Alize, that we have in the women's game.
Yeah, I'm always hearing the same things for years. Whenever Serena Williams was dominant on the tour, it was boring because Serena was dominant. She was winning everything, and the Williams sisters were winning everything, and it was not fun. And then finally, we didn't have like one player, one leader, let's say, of the tour, but many leaders, because we always have the same names. We always have Iga Świątek, we have Rybakina, Sabalenka, Coco Gauff, Pegula. They are always there. And these leaders, plurals, it's not enough also. I mean, it's never enough, I love the tour as it is right now. We never expect who's going to win. We know who's going to be in the last quarters and semifinals. But I think it's very exciting not to know who's going to win, depending on the surface and who's more comfortable there. I mean, Iga Świątek not winning Roland-Garros, but winning Wimbledon. How cool is that? It's amazing. And Sabalenka being the tiger and being the boss of the tour, but still losing sometimes in the final, because if she doesn't play 100%, she doesn't win. It means also that the consistency of the level is amazing, and the power of these girls and the level is just so exciting right now. So I think what I would say is people are always complaining, and if they compare women's tour to men's tour, it's definitely a different era, and I think it makes no sense to compare the two of them. So let the women tour be exciting as it is right now, and to me it's fine, and I can't wait for the next season to start and see who's going to be in shape for the Australian Open 2026.
No, I absolutely agree with you. I want to talk through a few of the players. I'd like to start with the year-end world number 1, Aryna Sabalenka. And before we talk about her, let's have a listen to Sabalenka summing up her 2025.
The good thing that I'm always there. The bad thing that this season I lost most of the biggest finals I made. So I guess I'll just sit back on Maldives, having my probably tequila, and think back and try to analyze my maybe behavior, my emotions, and think that actually it's been pretty good so far. I just need to get a little bit better, push myself a little bit more, and hopefully next season I'll improve.
But what I love about her is her attitude, the blend and the balance between fighting hard and then stepping away from tennis. Yeah,
she seems very balanced. I agree with you. It feels like she's the kind of the new generation of tennis players that also take care of their mental health and not only of their career and professional career. It feels like she wants to win more than anything in the world, but she also wants to be happy. She wants to lay down on the beach in the Maldives and have fun, and there's a time for everything. And I think that's a very healthy approach to tennis. And this era of players that have been suffering and living only for tennis and sacrificing everything is kind of over. Now we have these players that give everything to their sport, but also wants to have a healthy life, aside. And I think it's great. And I mean, it's our number one in the world, so it means it can work. And it's funny because we have the same thing in the men's with Carlos Alcaraz, enjoying himself, going to Ibiza and being also a young man who wants to live sometimes because there is a lot of sacrifice and compromise, but there can be also some fun moments. And I think jungling with these two part of your life is something not easy, but they manage to do it both and to do it great. So it's a good news for players.
You played Sabalenka 3 times. You picked up a win on the clay in 2019. What makes her so difficult to face, especially on a hard court?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I will always remember this match in Doha when I felt that I didn't have time to play. It was a horrible feeling. I was on my baseline and I had to step back every game a little bit more because I didn't have time to play. I didn't have time to prepare, my motion and hit the ball. I was taking the ball behind and I felt like her ball was weighing 100 kilos in my racket. It was terrible. The speed, the power, the weight of the ball. And what I was the most impressed with at that time was her kick at the serve, because there's not many women that can kick as much as Arena. And I was taking the ball above my shoulder every single time, and it was very hard for me to return. And I was a very good returner, let's say. And against her, it was a challenge. So definitely playing against her on clay and on hard court was 2 different experience. And but now she also improved a lot her game on clay. So now I would say that she's dangerous on every single surface.
And someone who we could now say is dangerous on every single surface is Iga Świątek. As you touched on, she doesn't win Roland-Garros, but she wins Wimbledon. And it almost feels like it raises the ceiling, it raises the bar of what we can expect from her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I remember playing against Iga 3 years ago in Wimbledon and beating her in the 3rd round, and she was definitely not feeling comfortable on grass. She couldn't quite find her rhythm, and she was trying to be more aggressive, but she was not feeling it. And when I see the improvement that she made in only 3 years and winning Wimbledon, first of all, she shows her a character and she shows the champion that she is, and also the work that she's been doing with Wim Fissette. And definitely by winning grass, she's sending a very strong signal to the other players, saying, okay, girls, I'm not only a clay court player anymore, I'm a multi-surface player. I mean, she used to be also an amazing hardcourt player, but grass was not there yet, and now she's just super confident on every one of them, and this is also the results of all the work she's putting in.
And I'm not expecting to see her drinking tequila in Mykonos, but she is also someone that's spoken about scheduling and that she's going to make the schedule work for her rather than her working for the schedule.
Yeah, but this is not an easy thing because now the schedule is very demanding on the tour. You have a lot of mandatory tournaments, and when you skip them, you either have a fine or you have a 0 points, and it's not easy to adjust the schedule. But I'm very happy to hear her saying that, because I think that the players have to be very smart with their scheduling, and working on that is definitely a good option. Because you can be crushed by the schedule. It's so intense, so demanding. It can lead to some injuries. It can lead to some burnout. And I think it's very important for all the players to be smart about it and to find this time of rest, of giving yourself some distance and fresh air. And this is not easy to do. So yeah, good luck with that to all of them.
Someone who I feel like has been around for years, and she hasn't, is Coco Gauff. She's 21. She's won 2 Grand Slam titles. Yet, Alize, I feel that most of the conversations we have about Gauff are about her frailties or about the weaknesses within the game, yet she continues to win.
You feel that too, right?
Yes.
It's crazy because whenever I'm commentating her, which is very often, I feel that people are very focused on her flaws. And then I'm really trying every time to remind them, guys, she's 21, she's at this level, and she's at this level despite of these flaws, which means, okay, her forehand could be better, she's still double folding, okay, but she's like top 5 in the world for years. She has a margin of improvement that is huge. I mean, how far can this girl go? I really want to bring out the positive out of Coco Gauff because she can do amazing stuff. Sometimes, even when her game is falling apart, or at least it feels like, she still finds a way to win. She still manages to win because of her mental strength, which is for me the best on tour, her physical capacities. And this is something that we have to talk about because this is just amazing. She's a proof of courage. So yeah, I really want to see how she's going to do in the next years because she's just at the beginning of her career and she's achieved so much already.
Do you, as a former player, when you look at her game, you look at the serve, you look at the forehand, do you see them as, can she change them? Can she get rid of the weaknesses in them, in her game, and make them consistent weapons?
There has been an evolution already. This is undeniable. There can be more. There can be more, and she will find a way. I have no doubt about it. Let's remind everybody that she's 21 and she's still improving every day. I think her team is great. She's been working with Jean-Christophe Forel, a French guy, for years. He knows her very well, and I think they're working in the right direction. I don't think that forehand will ever become her weapon, her biggest weapon. This will always be her backhand. She's very steady with it, very confident. But the forehand will evolve. It will become more and more steady. She will find a way for her to make less double fault because I think sometimes mentally it must be very hard double faulting at some not the best moment, let's say. But this is I don't see any biomechanic limits for her not to be able to do it one day. And she knows how to surround herself, so I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, as you say, you have to keep saying Iga Świątek is only 24 and she's won 6 Grand Slam titles.
Crazy. We have a big generation of young players or of great athletes. I think it's nice.
So good. And someone else we can now put in the mix is Amanda Anisimova. And you talk about mental strength. What she's gone through just this year, Alize, I mean, starting with that Wimbledon final, the biggest match of her career, and for it all to be over within 1 hour must have been absolutely devastating.
It was probably. I mean, I can't even imagine how she felt on the court. I was feeling horrible for her. I was feeling her, her pain and her shame. Because she must have felt ashamed. She had absolutely no reason to feel ashamed. But when you lose 6-love in the Grand Slam final, I think that the shame is finding a way into your mind. And the way she bounced back after that was just respect, huge respect, because everybody was waiting for her to see how she was going to react after that. And the reaction was just the best. But it was also, I think, the results of all the work she was putting in since a couple of years, and also the results of the confidence, that she built throughout the years, because she started winning a WTA 1000 in the beginning of the year, and then starting to win more and more matches. And at the end, the confidence in her tennis was there. She just didn't handle the Wimbledon final very well, but the tennis was there, and it was just about for her to, pop up. And it did at the end of the year again with the first of all with the second Grand Slam final at the US Open, and then with this other WTA 1000 title in China. I think she deserves it all. And I mean, what a breakthrough year for her. She was not expected this year to play this way. We know what she was able to do, but I never thought that she would finish the year on such a high note and with such a high ranking. And I think that maybe the suffering that she had in the past years and the story with her dad, with the passing of her dad, and the fact that she stepped away from tennis for 1 year, everything made her stronger, and made her know why she was on the court and why she was there. And I felt like she gained in maturity, in experience, and she's young, but it feels like she's a kind of an old soul, with everything she's been through. And it's helping her a lot on the court. I have the feeling.
Yeah, she started at 36 and she ends at world number 4. Someone who raced to the finish line was Elena Rybakina. She squeezed into the top 8 in Riyadh for the finals. She then, Alize, doesn't drop a set and walks away with a check for $5.25 million.
Wow. That's historic. I think Billie Jean can be very, very proud of how the WTA tour is growing at the moment, because this is just historic. This is amazing, and the way Elena Rybakina stepped up at the end of the season was just amazing, because she won WTA 500 in Strasbourg, but except that she didn't play that well, compared to the previous season. And at the end, when it really mattered to get to the finals, she won a tournament. She played the semifinal in another one in China, and she actually made it to the finals. And after that, I felt like she was unstoppable. She was just playing super aggressive, super fast, and she was in her comfort zone. She was just there. And how she can be, Elena Rybakina can make it seem so easy, and that was the case on these finals. And this is very exciting for the beginning of next season, for sure.
Yeah, if she can keep that consistency and stay fit and healthy. But I'm wondering, she never shows emotion. I think she'd be an amazing poker player. You're someone that showed a lot of emotion on court. How hard is it when you're up against someone and you're getting absolutely nothing from them?
Well, both can be hard, because if you have someone that shows you nothing, you have nothing to, let's say, to fuel your confidence or anything, because she doesn't show you anything. You don't know what she thinks. You don't know how she feels. So it can be a little bit difficult for the opponent to read their game. But the opposite is also true. I think playing against someone that shows you a lot of emotion can be very tricky. I'm serious, because you have so many information from the other side of the net, and you have to kind of filter them, and sometimes it's just too much. She's pissed, and she supports herself, she's cheering, and then she's frustrated, and this is not easy to handle, because whenever I played some emotional player like me on the other side of the net, I was always very confused, because I was like, what should I take? What should I leave? What should I read? Is she give me the right information? I mean, it can be very confusing. So sometimes it's easier to play against a poker face player, because at least, it's the same the whole match, and you don't ask yourself any questions. So I can be comfortable.
Yeah, I didn't really think of it like that. That's probably really true. Now, there's so many players we could talk about, but to finish the WTA, we must mention Lois Boisson. And this fairy, this is a sport where dreams can come true. You can have fairy tales. And from being in a hospital bed a year before to then Alize reaching the semi-finals of Roland-Garros.
Yeah, what a journey for her. Huh? She came out from nowhere, let's say, and she became number 1 in France in about 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. So that was probably a magical run for her, and not only for her, but for everybody in France. I think everybody was following her progression throughout the tournaments, and match by match being so impressed with her level, with her confidence, with her boldness. I mean, she didn't fear anyone on this 2025 Roland-Garros. And, beating Pegula, beating Andreeva, such great champion, just losing to Coco Gauff, which was about to win the tournament after that. I was very proud of her. And it's funny because I don't know if you know the story, if you heard it, but I was working for French TV. And when she won her first match against Alize Mertens in 3 sets, it was the first round. And I said it live on the TV set. I said, Loïs Boisson is going to make the second week of Roland Garros. She's going to go to the quarterfinal. And everybody laughed at my face. Everybody laughed at my face. She was more than 200 something in the world, but I played against her the previous year, and I practiced with her in March, right before the tournament, and I knew exactly how she was hitting the ball and what she could do on the court. And I looked at her draw, and I was like, if she passes Mertens, then she's gonna make it to the second week. And nobody was believing in me. And at the end, I was like, okay, Wu was right there. And I was kind of proud of myself too. So no, that was definitely a great time for French tennis. Yeah.
On the ATP, it's been a little bit more predictable with the two, Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz out top. I'd like to start with the Italian number one, the world number 2, Jannik Sinner. Before we talk about the Italian, let's listen to what he has to say about his 2025.
Making 4 Grand Slam finals, coming here, winning here, having this big streak in the end of the year, it's amazing. And but mostly I feel to be, a better player than last year. I think this is the most important. It's, all part of the process. I always say and believe that if you keep working and then trying to be a better player, the results, they're going to come. This year it was like this. Of course, as I always say, the off season, and now we have a lot of time to adjust ourselves already for next season and being as ready as possible. But honestly, amazing season. Many wins, not many losses, and all the losses I had, I tried to see the positive thing and being trying to evolve me as a player. And I felt like this happened in a very good way, and so I'm extremely happy with this season.
And so he should be. He just missed out on year-end number one, 58 wins, 6 titles from 10 finals, 2 Grand Slam titles in there. And we have to remember that all of this with him missing, due to his suspension, 3 months of the season.
Yeah, it's true. I forgot about that. It seems such a long time ago already, but yeah, what a season from Jannik Sinner. It was a great rivalry to watch. This Alcaraz-Sinner rivalry is going to be a classic. It is already a classic. And the way that Jannik Sinner stepped up after his loss in the final of Roland-Garros, after having match points, and the way he bounced back, a little bit like Amanda Anisimova did, but the way he won Wimbledon after that, only a few weeks later, was a proof of amazing strengths, mental strengths, and he said it very well. I mean, the improvements already from last year, where he was already so good, but he's even better this year. And these two guys, they're just pulling each other up. And where are they gonna go? I mean, where is the limit? They play such good tennis, and they're so above everybody else. And I cannot wait to see if another guy is gonna, come up and maybe disturb them. Who is gonna be? Who is gonna be this guy?
Well, I'm going to get you to run through some of the contenders, because that's the biggest question. Because Carlos Alcaraz, 71 wins, 8 titles from 11 finals, the other 2 Grand Slams, year-end number 1. He's only 22 years of age, and as you touched on there, they push each other. So Sinner wins Wimbledon, and Alcaraz says, "I must do better." He wins the US Open. Sinner says, "Well, I must do better." And then he wins the year-end finals.
Yeah, they always play against each other in the finals. So as you said, it's pretty predictable, but they're so much better than the other ones at the moment. So it's not a surprise, but I can't get enough of these finals. I mean, it's such a good tennis. It's excellence, and that's what we want. But talking about one of the guys that can be close to their level, at the moment, I don't see it. I've been expecting a lot from Fonseca, João Fonseca, the young Brazilian one. He's only 18 or 19, I believe. And I feel that he has a good margin also of improvements to be part of one of the best in the world in the next couple of years. But at the moment, maybe in a big Novak Djokovic day, he can still do an upset. Otherwise, for the other players, I don't see one guy of the top 10 that can play better tennis than these two, than Alcaraz, Sinner. I'm a big Alcaraz fan, and I would love for him to win the Australian Open and complete the Grand Slam, and to win all the 4 Grand Slam. At his age, that would be, first of all, that would be a first, so young, and he would deserve it because he's such a good player on every surface, and it would be nice to have another players than Sinner and Djokovic winning at the Australian Open. I feel I've been seeing the same names for the past 10 years winning at the Australian Open, so a new name would be nice.
If you were describing Carlos Alcaraz to someone who doesn't watch tennis, how would you describe the Spaniard?
Bold, creative, exciting to watch, explosive, and unpredictable. That's how I would describe it. And for me, how can I say, when you say that someone is very lovable, it's very easy to love. It's very easy to admire. He's very kind, smiling. I love his spirit on the court. I love the way he smiles, the way he's enjoying tennis. You can see he loves playing tennis, and this is very refreshing.
Yeah, that it seemed he said he needs to smile, he needs to have the joy, and if he loses the joy, then he could walk away from the game. But Yannick Sinner, he's a very different personality. It's amazing they work so well.
Yeah.
But if you're describing Sinner, it's very different from Alcaraz.
Sinner is a machine. Sinner is a machine. Is the guy that is impossible to shake. He's gonna be on the court and do the job and be so focused. He has no drop of focus throughout the match. On the opposite of Carlos, that sometimes he has some ups and downs mental wise. Even though by the end of the season I could see that he was working on it with his team and that he was much more steady mentally. But yeah, Yannick Sinner has different qualities. He's taking the ball so early, staying close to the baseline, playing so fast, and now he's trying to make his game evolve with some drop shot, going a little bit more to the net. And that's what I was saying. These two guys, they're pulling each other up. They're really trying to be better tennis players in such a short time. In 2 months' time, they can work on stuff and make their game evolve. And I think this is a proof of the biggest champion of this sport, is being able to change something in such a short time and being able to apply it on the court during the matches because they have no other choice to be the best of the best. Yeah, this is very exciting for the future.
One person to mention, not in terms of winning a slam, but we talked about the fairy tales and dream coming true, is the Monegasque, Valentin Vachereau. How on earth does he come from being an alternate and lucky loser into qualifying to winning the Shanghai Masters?
Well, that's the beauty of tennis, the beauty of this sport. It doesn't happen every day, but it feels like a bit of a Raducanu story, this kind of thing. This guy was not even supposed to go there, to China. He was not even in the qualifying draw. He came to sign in and see if a spot was opening for him. The spot opened, and he took his chance. But I think it didn't come from nowhere. I think the level of this guy was increasing for the past, let's say, few weeks. But I think he didn't even think himself that he could win a Master 1000. I mean, that was, and against his cousin in the final. I mean, I don't know if you agree with that, but for me, that was the most beautiful story of the year. Not in terms of tennis necessarily, but and I mean, even in terms of tennis, because the final was a very, very good final, a lot of quality. But in terms of symbolic, winning your first Master 1000 against your cousin, which himself made a great tournament, which played his first final, and both players were completely unexpected at this stage of the tournament. I think that was a very exciting week, and this is the beauty of the sport, where you can just be working for years and not succeeding in your goals and being still in the back of the ranking, and suddenly in 1 week your life completely changed. And this can happen to anyone working hard anyway, but this is the living proof that you have to believe in your dreams, and that you have to keep hoping, keep believing, keep working hard, and anything can happen.
Yeah, you use that word belief, and it comes back to who believes in the top 10 that they can beat Alcaraz and Sinner, and we're struggling. Everyone is struggling to find a name of who has that belief. And for Vachereau, it's having that belief, playing Novak Djokovic in the semi-finals, playing his cousin in the final. It's I imagine, though, it's quite hard, though, Alize, you have the talent and you have the skill, but to always have that belief in what you do.
Yeah, especially because in tennis you lose every week, and every week you're facing failure. So it's very easy to lose confidence in your tennis, because there is a very, very few weeks in a career. I mean, except if you are Alcaraz, Sinner, Djokovic, Rafa and stuff, but there is a few weeks where you don't lose a match in a week. You always have to face a loss, a failure, and you have to bounce back after that, and you have to keep working, keep hoping. And when you are 250 in the world, it means that you're losing on the Challenger Tour, and that you're losing to some guys that are 400 sometimes. And how do you, a few weeks later, how do you step up on the court playing against Djokovic and believing that you can win? This is something I would love to ask him. I mean, if I meet him someday, and I know I will in Australia probably, I will come up to him and I will be like, how did you find let's say it's not even confidence, it's about something higher than this. In France we have a word, it's called insouciance, but I don't know how to translate it. It's like when you're a kid and you don't realize what you're doing. It's something a bit, I don't know how to explain, but this is something that you don't even think about. You just go for it and you try, and there's no other thoughts than, okay, I'm going to try my best and I think I can do it, and that's it. It's really coming back to simple thoughts, and this is very hard to do. Keep it simple is very hard to do in tennis.
It's what makes tennis so special, that dreams can come true. You mentioned Australia, so I must finally ask you, how does Christmas look for you? Do you have a little bit of time off, or is it straight back to work as the new Billie Jean King Cup captain?
Well, I've been a captain since almost a month, and I've been working a lot already. So I'm very happy, because I'm not only the Billie Jean King Cup captain, I'm also the manager of the French women's French tennis. I don't know in which.
Both ways, good.
Both ways, okay. And so I also have to take care not only about the French team, but also about the players that are a bit lower ranked. So this is a big challenge, because we need more girls at the top level, and we have to take care about those girls that are, on the ITF tour, on the Challenger tour. I mean, it's not called Challenger for girls, but you know what I mean, on the ITF tour and the 125K tour, to try to, make the level rise up a little bit and have more girls in the top 100. And Christmas is going to look like sometime at home for sure, because the good thing this year is that Australian Open is starting a little later, and I'm not against it, to be honest. I'm really happy to have the Christmas time and the New Year Eve time at home. And then I will be leaving right before the qualification of the Australian Open, and I will be there for the qualies and for the main draw, supporting our French girls, and be there for them if they need me, be there for their coach too, as a support, and also, taking some notes for the next tie that we have in April for the Billie Jean King Cup. So it's a lot of work, but this is something I love, and it doesn't even feel like work. It feels just like this is something I want to do and something I hope I will be good at.
Oh, 100%. And if I could ask you finally to make, because you're good at predictions, so one prediction for 2026, someone for people to look out for, someone who's going to do something, what would it be?
Okay, I'm going to do a bold prediction, but I think that Elsa Jacquemot is going to make a great season. She's there, she's practicing hard, and I don't know how far she's going to come, but she's going to go, sorry, but at the moment she's 16 in the world. And I could see her entering the top 30 and have a great rivalry with Louise Boisson. That would be a dream of mine as a captain, you know? So,
Alize, I look forward to seeing you in Australia, and thank you so much for being with us on the podcast.
thank you, Gigi. That was my pleasure.
So that's it from Courtside Conversations for this year. Thank you for your company, which we look forward to having again in 2026. Until then, have a great Christmas and New Year. We will see you soon.